God, it's so comical. Oh my God. It's so freaking comical. His name is NetsBoy, so let's gather around from all over. His name is NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over. When the Nets just can't play. What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bring your latest in your god-awful, worst-case scenario, ultimate apocalyptic, disastrous Brooklyn Nets news. We've got a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss in this episode. So let's dive right in. I'm going to try my best to keep my composure. It's going to be very hard for me to do, but I'm going to try. So focus. As you all probably know by now, hence why this video is being done so soon. Because remember, my last NetsBoy episode was literally 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I sat here and I said, hey, Kyrie's back. Now what? Like, we got Kyrie. We're going to be ready to roll. We're entering free agency. We're going to have a shot and try to win a championship. Kyrie's back. Now what? What a terrible phrase. You want to know what's next? The end of the Brooklyn Nets as we know it. Because Kevin Durant, the guy that the Nets moved mountains for, the guy that the Nets signed Kyrie Irving to bring to Brooklyn, a guy that they brought in DeAndre Jordan, his friend, because they wanted to appease him. They then fired Kenny Atkinson because they didn't like him. They brought in his coach, his buddy, his mentor, Steve Nash, to coach the team. They did everything. They said they traded their entire team to get James Harden for this guy because he thought that it would help them. They then traded James Harden because Kevin Durant said, I don't think this guy's going to work out. They put up with all of Kyrie Irving's nonsense because they wanted to appease the god that is Kevin Durant. For the last 3 years, that is all this Nets organization did was kiss the feet of this man. His too big step on the foot line cost the Nets feet. And how does he pay the Nets? After signing a 4-year extension to give all us Net fans and the Nets organization hope that maybe we finally have a player who we can build and have a chance to win a championship for. Hope that after all the years of the disasters, the 11-win season, the lack of fans in New Jersey, allegedly, by the way, and then coming over to Brooklyn, being the little brother to the Knicks and being the laughingstock of the league ever since Jason Kidd left and everything like that, the dreaded rising from the ashes like the phoenix of the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce debacle trade that the Nets mortgaged their future. This team is coming. Here they are. Kevin Durant is here. He signs the extension. Everything looks like it's turning around. Yes, turmoil, laughingstock. Kyrie doesn't get the vaccination. He goes AWOL a lot of the times. James Harden wants to leave, all this stuff. But the Nets persevere through because they have this guy, Kevin Durant, who they've been putting all their eggs in his damn basket. And what does he do? He says, thanks, but I think I'm going to leave. Are you kidding me? I don't think I've ever been so angry at a basketball player in the history of my life. See, I'm throwing things accidentally. This is the biggest slap in the face in the history of sports by any quote-unquote superstar. I don't care what anybody says about Kyrie Irving or James Harden or all, anybody who ever said they wanted out or this and that. This is unprecedented. This is unimaginable. How a guy who literally had everything he possibly would have wanted originally, at least what he thought, and an organization doing everything for him just to peace out and say, I want to be traded. And it's just a slap in the face to us Brooklyn Nets fans. We have been through just as much as almost any other franchise. The only team that I feel like, the only fans or fan base that I feel like has dealt with the same type of disasters that us Net fans has is our friends, the New York Knicks fans. And we all know how I feel about Knicks fans, but there's no doubt that they've had loads of misfortune in their franchise. And there's a little, and I'm not trying to, compare whose franchise has been worse with devastating news from not just us and Knicks, but other teams. But I'm just saying, it seems like no matter what, the Nets will always be a joke. This organization, no matter what they try to do, even when they look like they have figured it out, there will be something that blows up in their face that makes them the laughingstock of the league. That's the way it's been ever since they, pretty much traded Vince Carter. I mean, even back then, because the Nets at least were a respectable team, and they had Vince Carter and Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson. They were a playoff team. No one saw them as a championship team, but they were a respectable team, right? As soon as Vince Carter got traded, all right, back in 2009, I think it was, or 2008, this team for the last 13 years has been a joke. Let's just say what it is. And the one time they started gaining respectability was in 2019 when they made the playoffs after rising from the ashes, like I said, with D'Angelo Russell and Spencer Dinwiddie and Joe Harris, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen. They were the 6th seed, and even though they lost in 5 games to the 76ers, they were respectable. And then all of a sudden, KD and Kyrie Irving come to the Nets and implode them and make them a joke. Because that is what they did. Both of those guys. And Kevin Durant has slapped and spit in the face of every freaking Nets fan there is with this so-called, I need a new change of scenery move. Bro, this is the scenery you made. This is the situation you did. Okay, Kyrie Irving had a hell of a lot to do with it. Abso-freaking-lutely. But you know why Kyrie's here? Because of you, Kevin. And maybe, just maybe, if you would have said something or done something, oh, well, Kyrie's his own man, I'm not here to overstep, blah-blah-dee, blah-blah-that. That's what he kept saying. Well, if that's the case, then why are you leaving? Because if you're acknowledging that it's not your place to say or do something, yet you clearly had your fingerprints on everything else in the organization, but not harassing his best friend Kyrie Irving about getting vaccinated or about not being AWOL or committing to the team. But you're going to pick the coach, you're going to force DeAndre Jordan here, you're going to want James Harden, you're going to not want James Harden. You do all that, but you won't tell Kyrie, hey man, you're letting me down and the team down. If you don't want the vaccination, I don't know what to tell you, man, then you better go talk to management and figure something out. Or say, hey, Kyrie, man, look at it from their perspective. No, he doesn't do that. Despite signing a 4-year extension. So you got no problem signing the extension, but you got a problem with how everything panned out, and you're frustrated with what happened the last 3 years. Really just 2 years, by the way, because he missed the first year. Are you kidding me? But then again, I guess it should come no surprise to anyone from a guy who made the weakest move in the history of basketball, leaving the Thunder to go to the Golden State Warriors to win a championship. A move that he had every right to do. You want to know what's so funny? Up to this point, I have defended Kevin Durant about that move. I used to say all the time, dude, The guy wanted to win a championship. He wanted a ring. All right. He made the decision that he felt would help him achieve that the most. Right. I don't want to hear that shit anymore. I don't want to hear that because you know why? He's slapped me in the face. He spit in my face. He stomped on my hopes and dreams. So now he can go himself. That's what Kevin Durant can do. He can go himself. But NetsBoy, he's just doing the same thing. He doesn't feel like he could really win in Brooklyn, so he's looking for a change of scenery. You don't even know. You never even gave this team a chance. This new team with Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, who opted in, and you never even gave it a chance. This team, the way it was constructed, which, by the way, they brought back Patty Mills. They brought back Nicholas Claxton. Bruce Brown is gone, but of course Bruce Brown will be gone because Kevin Durant wants to be traded. They traded for, though, Royce O'Neal, a 3-and-D type of wing who could really help this team. They had a championship team. The way this team is right now, without anyone actually being traded, this team is a championship caliber team, and you want to leave because you want to change the scenery from a team you created. Screw Kevin Durant, screw Kyrie Irving, screw Steve Nash, screw everything and anything that has anything to do with those two guys. I can't wait for them to be off this team. Kudos to Sean Marks, kudos to Joe Asai, kudos to the rest of the Brooklyn Nets organization for saying, you know what, screw it. We're done. And you want to know something? I'm actually getting kind of excited about the possibility of what the Nets could get for Kevin Durant and what type of picks and players. I mean, there's so many rumors speculating. They're saying that the Nets are going to want a bigger haul than what the Anthony Davis trade did or the Paul George trade. They're talking about 2 all-star caliber players and loads of picks. And I love it. I want it. And I've been playing with loads of trade scenarios for both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Reality of the situation, it's going to be very tricky to accommodate because Kevin Durant apparently wants to go to the Suns because, why not go to the team that had the best record in the NBA last year? Sound familiar? I mean, this guy's a joke. I can't believe I've ever been so happy to have him on my team. I want him gone. And Kyrie Irving can just follow him out the door. We all know I've defended Kyrie Irving for years. But you know what? The hell with him too. Because he was a big factor in all of this. And you know what? It's so funny. I bet Kyrie Irving could go to Kevin Durant and say, you know what, dude? When I think about it, this could be our best chance to win. Maybe we should try to see this through at least one more year. I opted in. Let's go one more year. And I think Kevin Durant would listen. But I think Kyrie, he wants out. He wants to go to the Lakers, to go back with LeBron James and deal with that. And KD wants to go to Fit. Look, I'm not going to lie. I kind of just want the Nets to be fun again. This team used to be fun. The last couple seasons before Kevin Durant and Kyrie came, especially 2018-2019 season, this team was fun. D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Joe Harris, those young guys playing hard every night. You knew they didn't have a chance to win a championship, but you were proud of them. You saw how they played. You believed in that team. I miss that. It's crazy because I thought I want the Nets to win a championship. I really, really do. But you want to know what these last 3 years have taught me? It's great if you win a championship, but at the end of the day, you want to wear your jersey or your sweatshirt or your hat or display your banner or custom jersey. You want to wear that with pride. You want to wear your team's memorabilia with joy, happiness. You want to sit and say, I am a Brooklyn Net fan. And you want to know something? Right now, I have zero pride in this team. Not the organization, but the team right now. Because Kevin Durant is on it. And Kyrie Irving is on it. And those two guys have destroyed the respectability of this franchise. And it makes me embarrassed to wear this hat. To wear this sweatshirt. Sorry about that. Sorry about that audio and everything just stopping and freezing and stuff. I kind of forgot that my microphone was attached to my sweatshirt. So when I ripped it off and threw it, it unplugged everything and, yeah, caused the video to freeze and audio to go. But anyway, you get my point. I'm embarrassed. I was embarrassed to wear the sweatshirt, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to, putting on some theatrics, okay? All right, through the hat, through the sweatshirt. You get it? You get my point. All right, let's just wrap up this episode before I have a heart attack. The point is, this is a very disappointing and sad day in Brooklyn Nets history. However, it has the potential to become a new chapter, a second Phoenix, right? The first Phoenix rebirth. The rebirth Phoenix was the resurrection of this organization franchise after the Kevin Garnett disaster and Paul Pierce trade. Maybe now we'll see a new rebirth of this team, depending on what the Nets get for Kevin Durant. And like I was kind of touching upon, there's loads of rumors, loads of speculation about, you know, who the Nets could go after. They want 2 All-Stars, loads of picks. Listen, as long as the Nets get at least one legitimate star player and maybe a crap ton of picks for Kevin Durant, I'll be happy. I know everyone's talking about DeAndre Ayton. We touched upon him in the last NetsBoy episode. He makes loads of sense. DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and like 5 draft picks. Look, if that's what the trade would be, I wouldn't be against it. I definitely would like more than that, and I feel like Sean Marks and the Nets are going to get more than that, but like that's where we should start. And maybe you do something a little crazy and you do like a 4-team trade, right? This popped into my head just like the other day. This is how I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this with this food for thought for all of you because who knows what's going to happen. Here's a fun little 4-team trade I came up with in which everybody wins, right? Kevin Durant gets traded to the Suns. Kyrie Irving gets traded to the Lakers. Okay? So those two guys get what they want. The Nets get DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and 3 draft picks from the Suns. And then they get our great friend D'Angelo Russell from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Russell Westbrook goes to the Timberwolves as well as the Lakers' second-round draft pick. And maybe the Suns could throw another pick or pick swaps in with the Nets as well in that trade. And maybe that's what this trade looks like. Maybe that's what the Nets end up doing. So then the Nets, when it's all said and done, they lose Kyrie, they lose KD, but they get our boy D'Angelo Russell back. They get DeAndre Ayton. Those are your 2 all-star caliber players, even though D'Angelo Russell, I don't know if he's going to be able to maximize his skill again. And you get all the draft picks. You get Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. You get a nice team you build around D'Angelo Russell, Ben Simmons, DeAndre Ayton. You brought back Claxton. You got loads of solid role players, and you build with all the draft picks within. And the Timberwolves get Russell Westbrook. They just got Rudy Gobert, and they have Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. You put Russell Westbrook. I know he's not the same player he once was, but and a win-now team, if they got a draft pick in that trade as well, maybe the Timberwolves would do that. And Kyrie goes to the Lakers. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Lakers win. The Suns would win. The Timberwolves would win. And more importantly, the Nets would win. And, I mean, look, the Nets could still get even more than that. But I'm telling you right now, I would like that. And maybe there's more players that could be put into the trade. But that's something I would do. That's how I'll end this episode with that trade because there's so many possibilities. I know everyone's talking about, Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans. Would that be a good fit? People talking about Paul George with the Clippers, a trade that way. I mean, there's just so many things being thrown out there. The Nets will have their choice, but at the end of the day, you got to assume Kevin Durant has to be happy with whatever team he goes to, or else he'll pull the same crap and say, no, I don't want to go there. I want to be traded. I know he's got 4 years left on his contract, but it's not stopping the Nets now from trading him, which, there is maybe a slim chance that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, mostly Durant, changes his mind. Slim chance. There might be a situation where he's talking to the Nets, and Sean Marks says, listen, you're under contract for 4 years. The offers that we're getting are for these teams that we really want to do, but if you don't want to go there, your choice is either you go to that team or you say, hey, let's try this one more year. Let's try this one more year with this whole team. Maybe that's what happens. That could very easily happen. I'm not going to say it's likely, but it's a possibility. And it's a logical possibility because all the parties have to agree on something. The Nets could, because let's be honest, what team is going to mortgage everything in the world to get Kevin Durant? And Kevin Durant says, I really don't want to be here. And then he's miserable, and it's the same situation he's in with Brooklyn. Just some food for thought there. But you know what? At this point, if Durant does come back or says he wants to stay, I don't know how I would feel about it. I really don't. I really don't. But it's whatever. I'm done. I'm done with all of this for now. I wanted to talk about more of the possible trade scenarios, but we will be here all day doing that. So let's just focus on, one day at a time, and let's see how this plays out, and let's see what happens. So let me know what you guys think about everything. The Kevin Durant news, Kyrie wanting to go to the Lakers, the Royce O'Neal trade, whatever. The fact that the Nets did bring back Claxton and they brought back Patty Mills, but they missed out on everyone else. Bruce Brown is gone. He signed with the Nuggets, so he's gone. Andre Drummond signed with the Bulls. Blake Griffin is almost certainly going to sign with one of the LA teams. So there's, the Nets aren't the same exact team, but they've got some pieces. Let me know what you guys think about everything. In my next NetsBoy episode, I'm not sure when it'll be. It might be right after. If a trade happens, you're going to see a NetsBoy episode the following day for sure. All right? If not, we'll see when the next NetsBoy would be, because the other thing is that's kind of holding this up. I know everyone says, the Nets don't need to trade Kevin Durant anytime soon, but I feel like they kind of do, because all their other moves will be contingent on what players they get in the trade. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Kyrie. We'll see what happens with Kevin Durant. Let's see what happens with all this nonsense. I will end with this. Steve Nash 100% needs to go. If Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are gone, Steve Nash needs to go. And you know what the Nets should do? They should call up Golden State, and they should bring Kenny Atkinson back. Bring back as many players as possible. Heck, I had a fun little trade situation that I put in, and I said that the Nets should trade Kevin Durant to the Cavaliers for Jared Allen and Karis LeVert and like Brandon Mobley. Back, not Brandon, Evan Mobley. Sorry, I was thinking of a guy who used to play for Seton Hall basketball a long time ago named Brandon Mobley. Nobody here knows who he is, but Evan Mobley. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about everything, and until then, this is NetsBoy, calming down and saying, you, Durant, and signing off.